Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to share some drone footage of my place. We've had some pretty good clouds rolling through in the mornings. The rains haven't been as consistent here though as they have been in other areas. Like Kingman and I know Flagstaff and some other areas really got hit. But it seemed like when the storms came to our areas, it kind of forked. And so we have been getting some rain, but it's been intermittent. It's not been as like consistent and like a downpour like other areas. It's more of like soaker rains. But I wanted to point out something on my land here. If you look at this drone footage, you'll see that the really green trees, those are all the pine trees that I have on my land, and I've got tons of them. And so what I've been doing is I've been going through and taking out a lot of the bushes. They've got these oak bushes that are just a pain to deal with, trying to get them out of there and expose some of the smaller pine trees. So I want to show you what I've been up to. So I've been working on my place now for about 5 years, and when I first got here, this place was just chock full of nothing but oak bushes and juniper trees and cactus, a lot of prickly pear, and other types of cactus up here. Just all over the place. And so when I got to the property, the first thing that I did was I came over to this section over here. I've got two driveways in. There's one in the lower and one in the upper. But the upper one is what I cut in first. And it took me, I would say, all day to cut from there to right here. And I truck camped here the first night that I took ownership of the land right here. It was just barely a little sliver cut in. This whole thing was overgrown. These oak bushes that you see, these scrub oak bushes that you see right here, those were literally everywhere. And those things, they've got these leaves on them to where it feels like there's little barbs on the end of these things. So when they dry out and get all over the ground, like this stuff right here, those are all dried leaves. It just is like really, they can poke you, and they can stick in meadows' feet and stuff like that. And also too, they just create a ton of biomass in the ground. I mean, just look underneath this oak tree and see how much stuff is on the ground here. It's just a tremendous amount of biomass, which is actually kind of okay because it does create like fertilizer as it breaks down. The problem with those bushes is it just makes it to where you can't even walk through here. Like here's an example of all the debris that I cleared out just to get the shipping container in here, because this area was chock full of these bushes. And I've been cutting them down by hand, and it's been a very, very long, painstaking process because these bushes don't want to die. And so what happens is like here's a good example right here underneath this tree, underneath this pine tree. There were a bunch of oak bushes that were here. It was actually really big, and it came all the way out here, and it was just this massive oak bush that was right here. And I've been working on it for like 2 years, and it's still coming up. And what I'll do is I'll trim it down with hand trimmers. I've got the hand trimmers right over here that I've been working with. You can see some of the debris on the ground, but these hand trimmers, it's to the point to where it's killing my back, because I'll have to be down on the ground like this, working with this thing, clearing out all these bushes because I don't want them to grow back. I want to keep clearing this out. And reason being is I've been focusing on my pine trees. And all of these pine trees that you see here, all these little smaller ones, they were all like almost choked out with these huge old bushes. And now that I've cut the bushes back, these pine trees are taking off. I mean, look how healthy this one is. That one's doing great back there. All these smaller ones are starting to fill in. What I've noticed is a lot of these oak bushes, they've got smaller oak trees or smaller pine trees in it like this, but they're all covered up because they're so, these bushes are so big, and they kind of just envelop everything. And my goal is to make this into more of like a pine, a pine heavy property, if you will. That's why I've been removing some of the junipers, but mainly I just want to remove these bushes here, because if you see on the drone footage, like these little, like they look like areas of disturbed dirt. That's where I've removed the oaks, the scrub oak. But I have so much more on this land to clear, and it would take me years to get this all done. And I mean, if we go over here and look at it, look at the difference between an area where I have cleared the bushes, so this is an area that used to have a lot of, you can see over here, I've been cutting them back like crazy and all that stuff. So this is an area, look at this tall grass. It's beautiful, really healthy, all that stuff. Then we come over here and look at this. This is right next door, and it's just a big old bush that's choking everything out. And then underneath it, it's just got, there's no tall grass growing there or nothing like that. So cut all this back, get all this out of here, and just focus on the pine trees and the tall grass. and I think my property would just look a million times better. I think it already looks great with all the work that I've done, but I've done it all by hand, and my body's just it's just breaking down now. I'm 50 now, and it's even with the hot tub and everything at night and the Epsom salts, I still just have body aches all day long. And so I'm getting this, it's called a DR brush hog. It's a DR power equipment. And so let's go inside. I want to show you guys what the specs are on this thing. What's up, Meadow? What you doing here, pumpkin? So I decided to go with the DR Field and Brush Mower, the Pro 26, which has an upgraded engine. It's got 5 horsepower more than the base model. It's also got electric starting and then full oil pressure oil pump for better mowing on slopes. And since my property's, got lots of variation to the terrain, I figured that was a good feature to have. The power steering is going to be nice. One thing that's really cool too is it accepts all these optional attachments. So if we look over here to the right, we'll zoom in a little bit, and the two that I'm most interested in getting are the grader and snow blade, and then also the 42-inch lawn deck, because I figure I can mow the front side of my property with that slopes down to the lower meadow. That'd look real nice. So excited to get this in. It's going to help out a bunch, and I look forward to getting these bushes out of here and get more pine trees going. All right, I want to show an example of the pine trees that I'm bringing back to life, or giving an opportunity to grow real well by cutting back these juniper trees. So this was a really large juniper tree. The branches were everywhere. It went all along this area, kicking out, really covering up these trees. And most of them were just about dead when I started cutting them back. And look at them now. They're doing really good. And a little bit of lopsided growth because this side obviously was covered with all the branches from this juniper tree. So we'll work on that. But I mean, there's a lot of trees here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pine trees. Oh, I'm sorry, 10. We got this big one right here. We've got 10 pine trees by cutting back this juniper, and then I'll end up using this juniper for both firewood and then also for landscaping logs, because you can take these, and since they're bowed like this, see how that one's like bowed? They're all like that, or for the most part. You can take them and you can put them on the ground and they act like a swale. Like it's a little mini swale. It's very small, but you can put on the ground. As long as it's flat with the ground, it'll hold the water when it comes through there and create like a little mini berm. And those are really useful to use. Same with this tree here. If we come over and look at this one, you can see these pines that are starting to come back. This is a great example on right here. I almost cut this one down because I thought it was dead, because there were literally no branches on it that had any sort of leaves at all, or any sort of pine needles. Now look at it. It's all starting to come back. It's looking really good. And then same with the other trees that are around here. They're starting to fill in and doing really well since I cut this tree back here. But I'm still keeping it a little bit of this tree, because I like the shade that it provides in the kind of the general area on the ground here. But I do want to start planting tall grass in this section because it was kind of a dead zone before. Wasn't a whole lot going on in here other than pine trees that were out on the fringe of the dead zone. But the main dead zone there, where some of these juniper trees, they could drop so much stuff on the ground that the mulch is so thick that no matter how hard it rains, that it doesn't penetrate that area, and it actually just kind of rolls off the land. So I want to kind of rehab this entire area through here with that, and that's the goal. Also too with this tree here. All right, we're back. But this tree was huge. I mean, look at all the limbs that I've gotten off this tree, and there's a bunch more over there too. And then over in this section right here. So that'll be great for creating microclimates all across the grass here. Because what I'll do is I'll drag these out to the grassy areas, and then just this tiny bit of shade that these branches will provide throughout the day intermittently to the grass will help it really grow. But look at these pine trees in here that I have. This one's really, really healthy. It's doing good. That's a big one right there. We got a nice big one right here. Another big one right there. It goes all the way up. So once I get rid of this tree and get all the branches out of here, then we'll be able to use those for landscaping purposes. And like I was saying before, you can take these branches and just lay them on the ground and just kind of lay them. That's what I'll probably do coming down the slope here that I have on my property, is just lay them on the ground in succession order, or in successive order, and then they can kind of work together for trapping water and building up that ground sediment. But this is an area where I'm really excited to work with this, because since there was a huge area on the ground here that just had a bunch of debris, I want to clear it all out and then put a bunch of native tall grass in here and also native wildflower seeds and kind of see what happens. And then we'll eventually get all the branches out of here and position them around the land just in different areas, and have those work for us instead of just discarding them. I decided to make a run to town to grab some coffee and also some food. And this is Jenna Lynn. She owns the Commodore House in Seligman. This is our newest coffee shop. It's freaking awesome. I love this place. And it's got a cool atmosphere in there. They've got all these places to chill and hang out. And it's also a resale store. And so there's items that you can purchase there, like the clothing and pictures and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's like got an Americana vibe to it. I really like it. And this structure has some very good historical significance to the town because this is Commodore Perry Owen's former saloon. His house was next door, so pretty cool place. And one thing I always get when I go to the coffee shop are these awesome pastries. They're made fresh daily. And then on this trip, I actually got their lunch because they serve this incredible Filipino food that's made fresh every single day. So call ahead. I'm going to put their link in the video description below for their Facebook page. The Commodore House is open from 7 to 3 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday, and they're located behind the Seligman grocery store. Alright, looks like we're up to about 250. It's on low, so it's kind of holding at that 250 range. I've got the little tinfoil wrap ready to go. So I think we're going to go ahead and throw it on in here and see how long this takes to warm up. Oops. Let's bang just a tad. That's what we're working with right here. Looks really good. Put that here like so. First oven experience here in the camper. This looks absolutely incredible. Check this out. This is from the Commodore House in Seligman, coffee shop in town. They do Filipino food for lunch, and it changes every day. It's really good stuff. And it's a lot of food because I have literally this much left over still in the fridge. So it's like 2 meals in one. So really excited for this. Perfect temperature. Oh, it's even crispy. Oh man, that oven did a great job. All right, this is dinner tonight, and then we're going to go hit the hot tub. I think the plan this morning is to make a zuni bowl out of this area right here. So I was taking some of these tree branches and throwing them in here, but with so much erosion on the sides and with this channel being cut right here, I want to stop that. And I think the best way to do it is do a zuni bowl. I'm going to have to cut back these sides a little bit, so I need to get a shovel down here and get those sides kind of tapered more a little bit. This side's fine. I can start working on this right here, and what's great is I've got all these rocks that are right in this section. So get this squared away, and then that zuni bowl, what it's going to do, it's going to stop this channel erosion from continuing, because this has gotten bigger and it just continues to go back more and more. It used to be back over right about here when I first got the place. So in about 4.5 years time, it's gone back that much. So we want to stop that. And what's great is we can incorporate some of this tall grass that's growing right here. We incorporate that into the zuni bowl and just give it that much more structure and ability to slow down the water, which is what we want. So we'll make the bowl right here. We'll have the spillover right here, and then we'll have the splash rocks down in the lower part here. And we're going to take out these trees and move them downstream a little bit. That way they can collect debris down there, and then we'll leave this free of trees. So after about 2 hours of work, here's what we've come up with. I made sure to choke these veins. that were where the water was going in those little water veins, choke them full of rocks. And I'll probably have to come through and maybe dig this out just a tad bit here, because if you see, it's an overhang. And that section right there could possibly erode away and then cause a channel there. So I need to complete the rocks over there. Same thing with this little area right here, and then back over there. But overall, really pleased with this. Got the splash, or the pool area right here, kind of a drop off on all sides to where it will kind of cascade down in, and then the wall right there to really slow things down. And then I've got some tall grass here, which all this stuff will just do great as the water comes through here. And then these are the trees that were the baby junipers that were kind of just along the edge here. I wanted to go ahead and cut them down and throw them in there. Hey, Pumpkin, just a second. I'll be over in a second. Cut them down and throw them in here. I did that up by that tree up there, and it's done really good because it's slowed down a lot of the sediment coming through there and built like little terrace shelves, which that helps for the water to get absorbed into the ground. But now it's about noon, and we're gonna go up to the camper, grab some lunch, and then we may call it a day. I'm still kind of not feeling 100%. And I mean, I've got a bunch of stuff over here to do, but I'm thinking that maybe just chilling in the camper for the rest of the day might be a good idea. What's up, Stinker? What you doing? Oh, you're just a good girl. All right, let's get rolling.